All right, y'all. What's cracking? It's your boy Ham Solo out here talking games with K Mega, but K Mega over here needing a walker to get to his damn desk, having some heavy issues right now with the camera looking suspect, and I ain't
Oh
liking it.
my, oh my
This
goodness.
man
Listen.
deserves all the disrespect y'all can give him. Chat, let him have it. Let this man
Oh
know.
my goodness. Listen, ladies and
This man
gentlemen,
is tripping.
if you come to GRG, there is plenty of times where this man does not come on camera. He walks off. He's dazed. Just this last Friday, he was dazed. I don't know what was going on with bro. Like, we was talking to him, he was just looking dead. He was playing a Nintendo 64 game, and I don't know what was going on. So listen, if my camera is going to be off, you know what I'm saying, because I'm working on it while we're doing the show. But if it remains off, just know you can already know my mannerisms, so you already know K Meg is going to be ready to get with it. So let's do it.
I can tell you that mannerism right now is suspect. We ain't rocking with it over here at TSWS Gaming. Get your stuff together, brother. Get it together,
bro. Anyway, let's do it. Look,
Hard Days Mike already throwing in a super chat calling you two bozos in one. He calling you two bozos in one.
Oh my, no. He was saying you because of all the stuff that you said. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, if you listen to what he was saying, man, it made everybody sleepy because he was tired. He was trying to burn the midnight oil, but man, that man needed to lay it down. He needed to put that little afro down, bro, because it was tragic last night. It was like, bro, we'll just be done, man. We'll just be done. And then y'all's 2K game, that sounded real tragic. Was it Chambers that was lighting y'all up?
Oh, wait. No. Chambers was on our squad. We had Chambers.
Okay.
Yeah, Matt was having a rough time with Chambers at the beginning of the game, but he ended up showing out, had about like 30, 40 points. I was the one that wasn't shooting too much until I put Devin Booker in. Once I put Devin Booker in, it was lights out. But that was 2K last night. But anyways, thanks everybody for coming through here. Welcome to another episode of The Crossover with me and K Mega, where we just sit here, bullshit, talk about a bunch of different games, talk about what's going on, talk about like Xbox and whatnot. As of recently, you guys can see the news on here. I was surprised when I looked it up and seen it. I was like, what's going on here? So just to hop into it, while K Mega's figuring out his camera thing, you know, he's messy, so he don't know where it even is. He lost it. Got to figure it out, plug it back into the USB little slot and whatnot. Anyways, yeah, K Messy, right? That's what it really is, K Messy.
Why you lying? I might have to unplug it and plug it back in. So let's just be clear about that. But I'm going to say, no, I don't for right now. But anyway, go ahead.
All right. But anyways, K Mega actually heard about this little bit of news before I did, and he posted it into our Twitter group. But I just stumbled upon it going through just topics and whatnot. And I guess Meta is launching a new VR subscription service, which is interesting. You know, the more we travel into these times, the more we're realizing subscription services are going nowhere. They're actually getting more relevant. K Mega, what you thinking about this so far?
Man, you're absolutely right. I mean, and we was having a discussion about this weekend. Basically, I was telling you guys that I'm thinking that I'm going to go ahead and risk it all and get the Ubisoft subscription because it just makes perfect sense. Because I as much as when I was looking at the Avatar Pandora game, I like it. I want to play it, but I don't know if I want to commit to the $70 yet. You know, I mean, I haven't seen I've seen a lot from what they showed, but it's still, you know, I need to see more gameplay. And I do agree with you guys when we was having the discussion that the game itself, it looks cool, but it doesn't look like it garners that $70. It seems like it still feels a little last gen-ish. In that respect. And then also like for another game that I'm interested in, but I refuse to spend money for it because I paid for the Crew 2. I bought the Unlimited edition. And I played that for about about 3 hours, and I never ever went back. So I don't want to waste money like that. Again,
I can feel that. Man, you making that subscription. I'm over here clowning on that subscription service left and right, and you making it sound a little scrumptious right now, because I can tell you what, I am not buying the crew at launch. That is not happening.
But if they go back to the roots of what they did with Crew 1, because the first Crew was very enjoyable, it was dope. And then I don't know what they went with Crew 2. So that's another game. Then you look and you see a game like Skull and Bones. Whenever that game officially drops, I'm interested in it. I mean, for what they showed last year, I thought that it was I thought it was like, okay, so they're definitely not going to try to be like Sea of Thieves. They're going to try to go their own lane with the game. It was very appealing. But again, do I want to pay that $70? And I don't. There's only like 2 games so far that I want. And I love Ubisoft games, but that's Prince of Persia, and then that's going to be Assassin's Creed. And the only reason why I'm going to pay for Assassin's Creed is because I'm all invested into the story of Assassin's Creed because of the open world stuff. And so Bassam, I got to find out what's going on with this story. So I'm going to support the game. So instead, I should just go ahead and get the subscription and go with that. It's no different than what Meta is doing, which I thought PlayStation would definitely add this to their PlayStation Plus program. And again, they dropped the ball. They dropped the ball. Like, I mean, watch. They will make a move on this because they know that this is something that I don't think anybody's seen this coming. But you just thought that if you want to get people more invested into VR, this is the perfect way to do it. Subscriptions, like you said, is not going anywhere. And if they decide to, and if PlayStation decides to do it, then now instead of them being the innovators of VR wholeheartedly, now they're going to be looking like they're copycatting again because Meta's already jumped on the gun. And I think that this is going to do well for Meta. I think that if a person like me who is on the fence about VR, it's not I respect the tech, but it's just like, I don't know. But if you want me to sit here and invest into what they have, especially as they undercutted PlayStation VR 2, that's an incentive on top of having a subscription for only $8 a month. Bro, I mean, I would just go with Meta instead of the PlayStation VR too. I mean, it's just that simple. I don't know why PlayStation feels so arrogant like they do, but it's going to hurt them in the long run, especially with this type of when subscriptions are just going to get further and further more robust. And if PlayStation decides to do it, will people sign on to that, or will they just kind of pass on it and then just go somewhere else in the VR market? I don't know. I think it's going to hurt them.
I got you. Yeah, I actually think, like, this sounds pretty interesting, especially being a person that like purchased into VR, and I'm just like, all right, what do I play now? What do I do?
Right.
Like, I don't know how many of us went and did that, and they're just like, all right, a little shoulder shrug. I guess I'm go ahead and get Beat Saber and whatever else is popular and download a couple demos, and then your Oculus ends up in a drawer somewhere.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like my controllers right here for my Oculus, I could probably blow some dust off of these motherfuckers right now. I'm just saying, like, I don't really mess with my VR that much unless I'm doing like flight sim, which I could use a controller or my Thrustmaster, the whole joystick thing. Or yeah, like I said, I could use my controller. As recently, I've been plugging my controller straight into the PC, and I could like play Star Wars Squadron. So it's just like, I'm using my headset for a subscription service as it is.
Right.
Now they're going to give me a subscription service for the headset. That sounds so much better than trying to just go through, Meta's store and try to buy. I don't want to buy a game from them that much. I'm not dying to do that. But if they could get me into the ecosystem more by having a subscription service, then maybe later on down the line, I can see myself starting to, this new meta game. Let me check this out. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, I totally agree. I think that because I don't know the pricing between the games from Meta and the PlayStation VR2 games. I know that they're more expensive on that end. So I'm assuming that Meta's had their games be more expensive. That part I don't know. But if you have a situation where the games are cheaper on Meta and they got a option for a subscription, then it's a win-win for them. See, some people don't understand, because there's a lot of people that still have pushback on the subscription thing. But yet, if you go to their homes, they either have Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, right, Amazon, or whatever. But then when they look at the video game aspect of it, then they're questioning that. And really, it makes a lot of sense, especially think about it for this year, right? Just think if every publisher had some kind of subscription service. Nintendo, if Xbox has theirs, Ubisoft has theirs, but let's just say Capcom had one, and because there was rumored that Capcom was going to do it, let's just say that everybody was having that. At the end of the day, are you saving more money when you dealing with these subscriptions, or are you saving money when you buy these games in bulk? Now, if you're a person that buys 1 or 2 games, 3 games a year, then of course you're saving more money when you're spending money on those games, and then you might dabble with one service. But if you're like the hardcore, like the most of us that's listening, and for you and me, I mean, I can tell you how many games that it's got to be around anywhere from at least 20 at the minimum. So you add 20 games from some games you get on sale, others you buy day one, compared to when you pay. Let's say that you got 4 services from the game, and so you're paying upwards of around $70 a month. You're still saving tons of money because of the fact that you have all the access to these games. And if you're paying the max on a subscription, on these subscriptions, their highest tier, then you're getting to play these games, the ultimate editions, without paying any extra fees. So I don't know. I look and see it's a benefit for people who's on a budget, who may be interested in certain games. That's why I think the Xbox model of Game Pass is just perfect, because it gives you a blend, a whole blend of games. And if Meta is doing the same thing with their lineup, where their games is equally priced of what the PlayStation VR 2's price, then and if you are an enthusiast on that peripheral, then it's a no-brainer. I would jump on that day one, and it almost make me like, man, if the price goes down, I might consider getting a VR headset and then doing a subscription for at least a month, finding some games that I like, and then just going from that. But I just, what I'm saying, I just think that that's just good for, especially how the economy is right now for people out here who's over here got other bills to pay, got other things that they want to spend their money on, not just on video games.
No doubt. Well, we'll sorry, y'all. I had some noise going into my headphone. Anyways, I wanted to kind of bypass that subject just for a little bit. We'll get back to it here in a little bit. But I just seen something that kind of prompted some goofiness. And I seen that you can get Windows 11 Pro for $23 for a limited time. Do we need that to play games on a PC, K-Man?
Yes, you do, especially if you play on Steam. Bruh, they said by 2024, if you don't have Windows, the latest Windows version or Windows 11, you will not be having, you won't have access to most of your games and the upcoming games that's going to be coming on Steam in the future. So you can play probably your older games, most of them, but The games that are coming forth, no, you will no longer be able to play them. Steam has said that earlier this year, and they announced it again just last month. Like, look, you're going to have to upgrade to Windows 11. So that's probably why while Windows is over here giving out a good great deal. Windows 11 is absolutely fantastic. I don't. In the beginning, I was beta testing it, and I was having my issues with it, of course. But after that last test, it's been absolutely fantastic. And then so I was like, okay, it's good, it's great. I'm finna back out now. See ya. So I made sure when I made my new PC build, I just went ahead and didn't even stay within the program. But I because it was messing with my OBS and stuff every time you had an update. So go ahead and pick that up, because if you are a PC gamer and if you do, you have a big library on Steam and you like to buy your games on Steam, it is definitely, you definitely going to have it. Now, I don't know if that's going to be the same case with the Epic Store or with GOG or with the Microsoft Store, but I'm assuming that this is some kind of big change, and it has to do something with the API, I believe. If I'm wrong about that, please let me know. But from my understanding, it had something to do within that. But yeah, you just got to have it. Bottom line.
All right, so I'm gonna hit the chat real quick because the chat's been rolling for a little bit, and I'm gonna address you right now, Sir X Man. Next week or the week after, I'm down to have you come through. I don't want to do it right now because as you guys are watching, you see me making changes to it. As soon as Sir X-Man comes in, K-Mega let him know.
Oh, yeah.
It'll mess up everything. Mess up everything. Again.
Yeah.
So K-Mega, or not K-Mega, but Sir X-Man, you got to start hitting me up before the show if you want to come through, bro.
Every Monday. We
do this every Monday. It's no surprise.
1:30. Yep, 1:30.
So, and then it's the same thing with K-Mega Show, GRG. You know what time that starts.
Yep. Bruh. Bring your old ass on time.
As long as you're on time, you can come through. I'm happy.
You can come through. Can't be messing up them cameras, bro. It's too vital.
Yeah, it is. It's a pain in the butt to try to figure out and then add a new source and do all this masking. Everybody's sitting there looking at it and you trying to have a conversation. But anyways, Lady Foxfire coming through in the house. Mr. Join the Dark, what's cracking? Big Bad Mo, guys. What's going on? Tortoise Hawaii, Dragonheart Yobi, Ray Chi, Staccato, Back from the Dead. What is cracking, y'all? Yeah, Hard Days, Mike, Stanley, Francois,
share this out. Let them know the crossover is here. This is here. New podcast, baby,
and it's a clean crossover so far. It's looking like a pretty clean crossover. I'm absolutely loving it. But those of you that don't know yet, let me just give you guys a heads up that me and K Mega started this show, and we're doing this week on mine, next week on his, and that's how it goes back and forth each week. So very much if you know about like DPS with Gaming Forte and Slow-Mo Backslap, they do a very similar thing where they go back and forth off of each other's channel. So pretty much the same thing as that. But anyways, continuing on, we heard a little bit from last week during the case, I guess, which we kind of already knew. I mean, let's not lie to ourselves, K-Mega, but Starfield could have been a PlayStation exclusive instead of it coming to Xbox, prompting the Microsoft ZeniMax acquisition. Speak on it, brother. What did you think when you heard about that, like in court and whatnot?
Well, it was, I mean, of course, from the back channels, we already knew that. It's just the way PlayStation has structured themselves to stay on top is just more out in the open. And it's more, I'm just going to be frank, it's more fucked up than I thought. It is. We knew. We called it out years ago.
It is tragic how much that they have to do just to be able to have a title on their ecosystem is tragic.
Bro, it is massive tragic. And to me, it was like, because I was there with other people like Xbox has got to get it together. What is their problem? And then but we know what happened. And then on top of the fact that the leadership that was there before Phil took over, they were already ready to and I think if you put it all together now, it seems like it's all kind of this, we all got the little pieces of the puzzle put into this picture. Is that I think that the heads of the people that was in charge before Phil got there were tired of Google and Amazon and PlayStation and then the second party deals and the third party. They were just sick of it all, and they was like, man, hell, why don't we just go ahead and scrap Xbox and move on, and then just put all of our focus on Windows and the cloud. And so Phil. And Sadia was, when he first came in, he didn't care about the video game situation. So Phil Spencer has to have and his staff, because it wasn't just Phil, and his staff get so much credit for not only riding the ship, but to talk Sadia into making these moves that are detrimental to Xbox and to the Xbox gamers' life. You know what I'm saying? Just think about if this was reversed and if this was Xbox doing this to PlayStation. How the PlayStation fan base would feel if Xbox was over there paying and doing this stuff. Like I seen something last night where Porter Rock was, because JD Gamer was over there, throwing out shade. And so Porter Rock was like, look, this was one of the first times that this was brought, this happened. It was talking about Gears of War, because Gears of War was originally supposed to be a multi-plat, was supposed to go to PlayStation, but Xbox.
Right.
Yeah, did that. No, it wasn't the first time.
They only ended up with one copy of Gears of War on PlayStation or something like that.
Right. And so the thing was that Xbox during the 360, listen, and I know Don Matrick, he was not a gamer and he didn't understand the gaming mech, but he knew how to solicit like no other. He was really great at what he did to get the 360 to be as powerful, to be as great as it was. The things that he did for that was great, but he didn't see the gaming aspect of it. And I think that the people that were Don Matrick and his team, they were over here playing fire with fire. That's why the 360 was doing so well with PlayStation, and PlayStation was struggling because there was a lot of people like, look, man, you're not the number one selling console. Like it's Nintendo and Xbox that's doing the most. So we're going to side with the 360 and for the Wii. And you just get the scraps, or you're going to have to pay extra. I'm pretty sure that same thing. The industry is rough. I know. That's another thing about this whole situation that I've got an understanding for. But PlayStation.
Yeah, we didn't know how rough it was. We knew it was we knew it was like driven by money, but I didn't know one company could force another company into making a different type of practice or a different type of rule, or it's weird to see. It was weird or telling to see that Sony was so strong in their position that they even bullied around the third party developer.
Right. Like that.
And they bullied them into what they did with other people's platforms, which is wild.
I
thought this was all like separate deals, and like maybe Xbox wasn't coming to the table with the same kind of money and it's like, no, it had nothing to do with the same type of money. It was taxed,
right?
Just to get it over.
Yeah, just with the Call of Duty situation, but we'll get back to that. But what I was trying to go back to is to say that PlayStation started this going with these methods, and when they seen that it worked, they've kept it going on for the last damn near 30 years, going back to when Sega first had Tomb Raider as their launch title. When Tomb Raider 2 dropped, Sony sit there and shut it down, paid the money to keep it exclusive on PlayStation and keep it off of Sega, and then did the rest, and then did deals with Tekken, did deals with Battle Arena Toshinden, and all different types of games going all the way forth. So it's like, it's business as usual for them, but it's more of an issue to where it's like, Well, if Xbox needs to fight fire with fire, the only way that they can fight fire with fire without getting looked at strangely is to acquire everything. So, I mean, to just cut out the middleman. It's something that I said in one of my thought videos last year, was basically that they had to cut out the middleman in order for them to make sure that they could assure the gamers on Xbox to have content, because they see this shit too. Like when it happened with Street Fighter V, Phil Spencer comes out here and says, look, it was this way, that way, whatever. You know, Xbox gamers is pissed off, and then of course you see it with the Final Fantasy franchise, and then of course you see it with all these other Japanese games that dropped, and other just third party and second party deals that PlayStation had, on top of the fact that they put in their clause that you couldn't put games on Game Pass if they got the marketing rights. They were squeezing the Xbox division so damn hard, like pause. But it's like, how can hell they compete? The only way is to acquire studios. And then of course, seeing that PlayStation was going to get Starfield, Ghostwire Tokyo, and Deathloop to be exclusive, it would have already been a wrap before the generation started.
I'm telling you, man, it's insane.
Yeah.
It's literally insane, because we're sitting back as customers, and like I just got done saying, we're sitting back as customers like, yo, Xbox, what are you doing? Like, dance, do something. What are y'all doing?
Show some aggression, yeah.
Yeah. Like, show us that you still want to be into the console market. And it's like, we have no idea how hard and how much. Like, I can only imagine. Yo, they got squeezed in this Call of Duty deal, and they still took it.
Right.
So imagine what other deals they got squeezed on. That they were just like, you know, we're just gonna have to bite. We're gonna have to bite the bullet, y'all.
Mm-hmm. Call of Duty is just too big of a game. It's too big of a game to let go. Because if Xbox let just 1 year, PlayStation would have probably had that to be exclusive. Therefore, because I bet you PlayStation would have paid more money to make sure that it would not
facts
come back
right here. He says if Nintendo didn't have the level of IPs that they have, Sony would have wiped them out.
Absolutely.
That's a fact.
Yeah,
I 100% agree with that. K-Mega, 100%.
Yeah. Oh no, he's absolutely right.
Let me continue with the chat before I continue with my take on this, because I just think this is wild. But anyways, to continue on with some of the stuff from the chat, because I want to respect y'all out there. I appreciate y'all coming through, giving us the time of day to check us out. So make sure you hit that like button, and if you're new, subscribe. That'd be great. But Ray Chi, I'm gonna start with him. He said Windows 11 is a tablet OS. Use it. Okay, he's just talking. I mean, then let's see. Back from the Dead said $8 isn't bad, but this like games with Gold or Game Pass would depend on what it includes in the service. So he's talking about the
quality of the games
that we're talking about with Meta's new gaming new service for their headset and whatnot. So yeah, I'm very interested in that. If it is like a Games with Gold Back from the Dead, I'm telling you, I'm not that interested. But if it's something like Ubisoft's or Game Pass or PlayStation Plus Premium, I'm interested to at least give it a try for a month. See how it goes. See how much I actually use this thing. Right?
Right.
So that's interesting. But the thing that I'm, as a person that's really big into using Xbox and the ecosystem for Xbox, I'll tell you straight up that I'm waiting for Game Pass to come over to Oculus, because I thought that was supposed to be a thing a while back.
Now, there could.
I heard it was supposed to be a thing. I just haven't heard anything from it since. Dragonheart Yobi says no K-Mega slander. BS. We are slandering. And then Mishi Miyagi said, what's good?
What up?
Let's see. Gotta get caught up. Oh yeah, Decado said that he's still on Windows XP, and Mr.
Oh, bro, you gonna have to get out of that, bro. Yeah, you gonna have to keep it moving. You gonna have to get moving or get you a new PC and then put that
no, he
over
was
here.
kidding. He was kidding. Though.
Oh, I was like, man, I don't even know how you playing anything over there.
Losing it real quick over
Bro,
here.
you still on dial-up, man. Hell, just get you a console and just keep it pushing, brother.
Yeah, let's go. Speaking of keeping it pushing, let's go on ahead and just do that. So yeah, my whole take on it is like, yo, we've seen how angry PlayStation was when they got to this point in the deal. You seen that article not that long ago saying PlayStation pretty much threatens Activision with not getting any access to the PS6, right?
Right.
So we're starting to see how big of a deal it was for Sony just to kind of elbow Microsoft into taking a deal that they didn't want to take.
Right.
So now they're seeing that, oh man, we may get a deal with y'all, but it'll be the same as everybody else. That doesn't look good, right?
No, hell no. Like, this is why I always said that it's the smartest decision for Call of Duty to remain on PlayStation, and then for the other deals that they've had with Nintendo now, and then with like Nvidia and all that, but because they want to get that money in order to fund the rest of the stuff that they're going to be doing, not only within Activision itself, but also within Game Pass. Like, this is going to empower Game Pass to be incredibly large, because what we've found out from the court hearings is that PlayStation has taken money that they've gotten from Microsoft and put it into the deals that they have done to keep games off of Xbox, which is pretty ingenious. It's devious, but
it's ingenious, devious, and heavily disrespectful.
Right, it's heavily disrespectful. But then yet you constantly got to say, well, we're good business partners. We're doing this. Listen, there's somebody, I've said this beforehand, and there's other people that are starting to believe it now, that like this relationship between Xbox and Sony is never going to be the same after this, because there's too much dirty laundry out there. And then for like the Call of Duty situation, for Sony to get out here and play victim and then come out and then get exposed for them saying, well, we're not going to be hurt, which they're not. And then try to buy enough time, not only to stop the deal, but to buy enough time so they can get their games out and try to have their Halo, because I think that's the whole reason why they bought Bungie, is because they want to have that Halo game. And so Marathon is going to be, we're going to see what Marathon's going to be. And then for them, with their services, of course, not all of those services are going to hit, but it's all they need is just 2 or 3 to hit out of the 10 or 12 that they're going to be throwing out, and then they're going to be solid. They're going to be having getting all types of money to put more deals out to stifle Xbox. So Xbox has to keep doing this. And so when we've been saying like, well, Xbox is probably going to chill on acquiring. No, they're not. No, they're not. Because if Sony can keep on having these deals the way that they've been having them structured, Xbox has no choice, because the console market, they're always most likely going to be third, second, and best. You know what I'm saying? Because even if they can surpass PlayStation, they ain't going to surpass Nintendo. So it's not. So they're not going to be the market leader in that playing field of the consoles. So therefore, they have to do what they have to do. And so putting Call of Duty on everything and recouping all that money is going to benefit my Xbox greatly for Game Pass. And that will be PlayStation's going to have to make a decision going forward with their service. Are they still going to are they going to be making enough money to sustain, to have their PlayStation Plus and their tiers and all of that? Or this might have been a big reason as to why they were at a cause for pause on day and date things coming out for their services, because like we're getting money from directions that aren't exactly ours. Right.
So us banking on that may not be the most safe thing to do. I mean, now I'm just talking out of my ass with that. I'm just guessing.
Right.
But I mean, that's not a super crazy guess at all. Like if you're getting money from Peter, Paul, and Joe and all these other people, that's cool. But what if Paul starts, coming in a week late? What happens if Joe, he doesn't make the money that you thought that they were going to make? They don't have your name behind it, so you're not like super duper responsible for it. But at the same time, you're not getting that same revenue that you had anticipated. So why put yourself out there? It's just kind of it can get messy really quick when you're dealing with so many other people for your wallet, to get your wallet taken care of. What Xbox is doing is pretty damn smart. They said, you know what? We've done this for years. We've even had our best generation ever, and you guys wiped the floor with us right at the end of it. We, as Xbox, seen that. The fans, a lot of fans were at the time were thinking, Xbox is kicking ass. Xbox is doing good. But I can only imagine the folks at Microsoft were looking at the numbers and they saying, "No, this ain't adding up." As for as dominant as we sound, we ain't really dominating.
Well, no, and that's the thing right there that makes all this, just ridiculous. And at the end of the day, is that people are expecting Microsoft to still play nice or play friendly. That's on the PlayStation side, and not acquire this and not acquire that and not do this, not do that. But PlayStation has been playing this game for so long, and and Microsoft is really one of those companies that has the capital to actually kind of put PlayStation on pause. And this is why PlayStation has been trying to get rid of Xbox for a minute, because they were not wanting them to get into this mode of like they're tired of their bullshit. And hey, you know what? We're going to start acquiring. We're going to really start putting the pressure on you, because they knew that Xbox was going to start innovating on something, and they just didn't know what that was. And Game Pass is that. And then on top of that, you acquiring big time publishers like this right here is one of the biggest, if not the biggest publisher. You're going to what you're doing now is putting PlayStation on notice. Is like, we're not playing games with you anymore. We're going to start dictating our future in the gaming sector. We're not following this path, what you're doing for this long. For how long we've been taking it.
What this whole thing did, in my opinion, is it killed the whole the whole narrative of, Xbox needs to come out here and compete. They don't need, they shouldn't be buying these studios to compete. They need to come out here and really compete and stop pretending this obviously, this was so telling as to why they made the move that they made. Why it makes so much sense is because they were getting dog walked on trying to get anything third party, especially if Sony was interested in it. Starfield. Yeah. I mean, look at the games before Starfield. You got Deathloop, you got Ghostwire Tokyo. What happened with Xbox?
I'll just go to the screen, let people know what I'm about to play. There we go, ladies and gentlemen.
So you already know, like, bro. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, dude, they even bought ZeniMax and still had to honor that deal and not even have what they own on their own platform. Like, that's how messed up it was leading into that situation.
Yeah.
So if you look at Starfield in the near future, same with Redfall. Everyone's skipping over Redfall because it was a dud. Right. But Redfall could have possibly been exclusive for PlayStation.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, maybe not exclusive, but it was going to be on PlayStation
for like exclusive for a year is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
Year time exclusivity, the time exclusive, and I'm thinking the same thing for Starfield. It could have been a time exclusive. It may have came out for Xbox, but it would have came out after the well was good and
Well, from what they were saying in the hearing, that was going to be locked down. They were going to lock down Starfield and lock down Ghostwire Tokyo and Deathloop. Like those weren't timed. That's what I'm saying. Like when I was making the point of saying like the generation would have already been over because you would have had Final Fantasy 16 just drop. Starfield probably would have dropped earlier, maybe last year. So you would have had what came out for PlayStation? Oh shit, you had.
It would have been a travesty for Xbox.
Because that's
you
what I'm
got
saying.
God of War, you got Horizon Forbidden West, you got Ghostwire Tokyo, Deathloop just came out just months prior before that, Gran Turismo,
the remake to The Last of Us.
Yeah, the remake to The Last of Us,
Horizon Forbidden West,
and then you would have had And then this year, following into this year, you would have had Forspoken. Yeah. Either you love it or hate it. You would have had possibly Starfield and Redfall, all just tied up to the point that Xbox couldn't even really play it. We got Ghostwire Tokyo,
and all we would have had at that time was High Five Rush. Oh, well, no, we wouldn't even have
we wouldn't have had that because
we would have came on PlayStation. It would have been a multiplat.
Exactly.
Oh, my God. Yeah, bro.
So Xbox would have had...
oh, my God. Yeah, it would have been. And then for Xbox gamers out here, for many years as I've been doing this shit, for me, getting my legs beat fighting, there's no more fight left at that point. Like, bro, I just gotta concede. Like, Xbox just don't want to be in the game no more.
The throat needle.
Yes, succumb to the throat needle. Cause that like, bro, PlayStation coming with the fire like that. Oh my God. And Xbox had the 2022, and then of course. They would have had the initiative. Hellblade 2 wasn't ready. And that might have been, and let's see, they probably would have forced Hellblade 2 to come out earlier before it would have came out. Probably the same with Forza Motorsport.
Yeah. And then how about this game? This game wouldn't have even, I'm not sure if this game would have been possible. And if it was possible, it may have been multi-plat. Indiana Jones. Being worked on by Machine Games.
And that would have been an exclusive by PlayStation. No doubt. No question. No question.
What I'm saying? Like,
and while Xbox gamers are still waiting for games to drop, there wouldn't have been no time for Xbox would have panicked and start forcing games out early just to try to compete with that PlayStation lineup. That's too much because you not only have PlayStation, and even if let's just say all the games that we said from ZeniMax and Bethesda were timed for a year, the damage is already done because the PlayStation community is eating so well. Like that's a ridiculous plate. Bro, that shit that you pack up and take home to eat for the week plate. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, you're not only full, but you got something to last you for the week. You ain't spending another dime. You're just eating good for the rest of the week. And it all was because PlayStation was trying. I said this. PlayStation was trying to finish off the Xbox because they damn near had them at the end of this generation, and they were ready to start it off by kicking their ass at the beginning of this generation. Xbox had no choice. That's why it made so much sense when Phil Spencer, in that article from GameSpot, where Phil Spencer went to Satya and said, look, either we're in or we're out.
Because Xbox, I tell you.
That would have been tragic. It would have been tragic. There would have been nothing that I could say. Nothing to try to uplift the Xbox community. Nothing that anybody, a Colt or Dirk Griggity or King Dick, nothing. We would all have to succumb to the throat needle or bend the knee. Whatever slogan you want to use, it's over. That would have been over. After the
R. Kelly moment. Yeah. I'm fighting for my damn life. That's what Xbox has been doing. And imagine if they didn't get ZeniMax. They would have been pretty much. It would have been trying. It might have been time to close the door.
Right, and especially on top of that, putting the squeeze on them with the deal with the Call of Duty deal. That's what made. I couldn't believe it. And then for Activision to go and to say, look, the market leader has already paid us more money. So you're the third place. You're in third place. So you pay us more than what PlayStation is paying us, or we will not put Call of Duty on Xbox. That is insane. Mad disrespectful. And you know what they said? Look, we appreciate your disrespect. That's some good ass slander. I got one for you. Here, let me slide this piece of paper to you. What's this? We want to buy your ass. Consider it. You know what I'm saying? And then next thing you know, Activision and Bobby Kotick like, shit, we having all these bad moments. You know what I'm saying? I like to suck on some titty milk and all this other. Yeah. I think I might want that. I think I want to go ahead and just bow out of this. You know what I'm saying? Publicly, you know what I'm saying? Publicly, you know what I'm saying? Our stocks is going down. Things ain't looking too good. And then, of course, after the pandemic, you know what I'm saying? Everybody in the industry got hit. So, you know, that was it. So that paper that was slid to them, they went ahead and gave that call to Microsoft because there was other offers from other companies that wanted to, you know, that from other people, investors that wanted to buy Activision. But they went ahead and I guess the deal was just too sweet. Because also in the court hearing, what was very interesting was that the FTC was saying, look, well, how is it that you got a deal with them when they're for, you know, to pay $71 billion, but their overall cost was $106 billion? How did that come about? We just cut a good deal. Feels like we just, man, you know what I'm saying? We just cut a good deal. There ain't nothing else to be said about it. Like, I mean, shit. That's what's impressive about this whole situation, this whole turnaround from seeing where the Xbox One era at the end of the Xbox One era, because the beginning of the Xbox One era was absolutely fantastic. But at the end of the last generation and how it all played out and where we're at now, to where Xbox gamers are excited and they know that they have a game that's going to come out that's going to be mentioned or even put into the you know, even nominated for Game of the Year. We haven't had that in a long time. Xbox had Publisher of the Year in 2021. Like, all of this stuff has changed because of what Phil Spencer and his staff has done. So yes, when you know, and PlayStation gamers hate it when Xbox gamers talk positively about what under Phil's regime, what he's done. He saved the Xbox. He's for the Xbox gamers out here. Look, I think majority of us would have became PC gamers. Not so much. We would still got a PlayStation, of course, but there's no way that most of us would have went ahead and just went to PlayStation and been PlayStation, you know, first gamers. I think we just would have went to the PC. Personally.
Okay. You're over here changing your profile picture because you got some weird looking barbarian that doesn't make any sense. So I made it make sense.
That's K-Apocalypse, baby.
I made it make sense.
That's my alter ego right there.
I
Look
replaced
at that with the furs.
You've been replaced with a new screen. Until you fix your camera, you've been replaced with a new screen. You are now. Man. I mean, you might have to turn on the screen. It looks. It looks as much like you as possible.
Oh, see, hold on. Let me go ahead. I gotta go check and see the slander, this disgusting slander. Why did I agree? Why did I agree to do a podcast with this sucker, man?
Y'all hit that like button. Y'all hit that like button. This is.
Now, darkness, the tables are turned. Do with him whatever you like.
Yes, let's go ahead and do it. Hey, K-Mega 405 coming to you live from hell. Let's go. Oh, man.
He said coming to you live from hell.
Oh, coming live from hell, man. We about to get Lilith, man. Yo, I see Lilith up close and personal, man. Y'all do not want to smash that. Oh, man, you do not want to smash them. I said, man, if they tell me smash a pass, man, I seen her from up close. Pass, bro, pass. Man, brother, down. I don't want it. I don't want it, man. Y'all don't want that. She's she's 10 feet tall, bro, and she got horns and wings, and her nails is as long as my beard, bro. Hell no, ain't want no. So,
oh man, that was lovely. Hey, don't act like it don't make sense. Don't act like it don't make sense.
I don't know. I don't know who this person. I don't know why you picked this particular person, but anyway, that's.
Oh, okay. You don't know why. You a trip.
Oh my God, that is absolutely hilarious.
All right, but anyways, as we were talking just a little bit ago, like I wanted to touch on that subject a little bit about Indiana Jones and how we heard about that throughout the case. Like, what were your thought processes before you figured that out through pretty much fools jumping the line in court and speaking on something that they ain't really supposed to be speaking about?
No, I thought that was crazy. I mean, all the tea was getting a lot of tea was getting spilled, but of course we didn't get to hear about the financials and things like that. But it's good to know. It also shows that Xbox is being very aggressive with their approach. And it also makes me feel that, like, Phil didn't say it in court, but I'm thinking, like, yeah, if these games aren't as big as Call of Duty or Minecraft, they're all going to be exclusive. So I feel that all these single player games that is going to be coming out, they're going to be locked into Xbox PC. They're not going to PlayStation. I think Xbox is like I said, had enough, and they're like, look, we're going to play fire with fire. We have enough studios right now to ride the ship. It's just that some of us gamers need to be a little bit more patient on some of these games that are going to be coming out here in the future. But rest assured that these games, I feel, that aren't coming out, that will be coming out, will be exclusive on Xbox. Because I mean, Indiana Jones, and I'm seeing already the excuses from the stands. Well, Indiana Jones is too old. I mean, these kids ain't gonna understand. Look, if that game is popping and that game looks good, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. The game, it's about what that game looks like. If the gameplay looks solid, that's all that matters. That will garner young people to start paying attention to Indiana Jones. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's just that's just my thoughts about it. But like I said, going forward, I feel that games like Outer Worlds, well, we already know that Outer Worlds 2 is going to be exclusive, but for Skyrim and for hell, I'm thinking Doom. You were even looking at what's the other game from them? Wolfenstein. I think those games are going to be exclusive. I think if it's not a live service game, I think Xbox is going to lock them down. What do you think?
With what being live service?
I was saying if any games that are not live service, they will still be on other platforms. Well, I would say that they will still be on PlayStation and on Nintendo. But I'm thinking Doom, Wolfenstein, we already know. So Skyrim. If they wanted to make another Oblivion or Fallout, I think all of those games are going to be exclusive to the Xbox console. I don't think that they'll see the day of light on PlayStation.
I mean, I agree with you, but I'm really curious as to what you think could be something that would be like I know you said like live service and whatnot, but do you think that there's any non-live service games that end up being given to PlayStation as well? Due to, I mean, I know you mentioned Wolfenstein, which I agree with you, will probably stick on Xbox. And a few other Bethesda titles like Fallout, any of the Elder Scrolls types of games. Do you think that ESO has a chance?
No, because that's generating money. That's too big and it's been out for too long to just take those people out. You know that. And
so you think that's going to stay on PlayStation? Pockets.
Huh? Yeah, that's definitely staying on PlayStation. Yeah,
Okay, yeah, I think that's a good idea myself. I mean, especially if you want to
76, anything like that. Yeah, that's definitely staying on PlayStation.
I mean, you know how people are cool, and we shake our hands in Publix, but we side eyeing each other, right? I think that's one of those situations where you kind of giving them something with a phony smile, and you're just like, take this, generate that money, and give it back to me, bitch.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Get to soliciting. Go ahead, because you also got to think about this as well. PlayStation do not want to put, unless Xbox became a third party, but PlayStation does not want to have those games having that Xbox logo and sound popping up on their console. They do not. So if that, it's just one of those things when you know that you're spending money in order for having that game on there. That's why PlayStation came out and was trying to be aggressive and saying, well, Xbox is not going to get the dev kits, or not the dev kits, but the information for the PlayStation 6 because for Call of Duty and all this other shit. Listen, it could change. I mean, ESO might go through something, and then PlayStation might just go ahead and start saying, no, we got enough titles on our own to where we ain't got to worry about it. So I don't know. It could be one of those things where they are particularly looking at it as a business point of like, well, if we continue to keep working with them, then they're going to know more about what we're doing, and that could hinder us on, we might have to make more powerful hardware, or they might know our strategies on certain things. I don't think Xbox would do that out of bad faith. I mean, but hell, these days I have no idea. Like I said, the relationship is tarnished. It's not the same. It is not the same.
Tarnished.
It is not the same.
Man, that reminds me of that new
I think he's back. I don't know.
No. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I have you going through a different audio channel so they could hear me, but you couldn't.
Okay.
No, but I was just saying you remind me of that there's a new Elden Ring that's gonna be dropping. Saying all that tarnished stuff.
Yeah.
Anyways, so the DLC is gonna be coming out for that in a little while. But here's something that I wanted to post that made me salty personally, and I don't think this is too much in your wheelhouse, K Mega, but you can definitely speak on it because this is just kind of the industry today, I guess. So unfortunately, one of my favorite games, which is not a lot of people's favorite games, but just to give some news out to those of you, looks like the Ark Survival Ascended game is getting another delay after devs just got done teasing about the roadmap. And that was supposed to be a side piece game as they finished up on Ark 2. K Mega, what you got to say about today's age and devs kind of giving out these timelines when we as fans look at it and we're like, really?
I think what developers need to start doing, well, not so much developers, but but the people who announce these games, which I know some of them are developers, but the publishers, I think that they just need to put a window of when this game is supposed to be coming out. Don't give out any dates. Give an estimate of when you think that this game, and then like maybe put an asterisk there to say things could change, to not get people so overly hyped. Because if you think about it, okay, for instance, when you think about this, and I know a lot of gamers are gonna feel this. When you know that a big game is coming, you kind of settle down on what you're playing to get ready to anticipate for that game's arrival. Like, for instance, like, I mean, you know, like I do this all the time. Like, for instance, I was, when Starfield was announced, I was over here like, okay, and at that time I was playing Gotham Knights. And I was like, oh man, Starfield's going to get, well, no, not Gotham Knights. I forget. It was, damn it, I can't remember what the game was. But I was playing this game. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to chill because this is going to be coming out here pretty soon. And I know when Starfield drops, I'm not going to be able to maintain the same level of play. Oh, it was NBA 2K. That's what it was. I was on NBA 2K like crazy. That's what it was. And I was just on it like nuts. And I'm like, I'm not going to be able to sustain this. So I'm going to kind of pull back, jump on, a couple of smaller games, maybe start a single player, man, and then just kind of ease my way into getting ready for that. Then when you find out that it cancels, then you're kind of like left stuck and you don't have that same motivation to get back into what was for me 2K. And so I'm already kind of playing, a single player experience at that time was with Gotham Knights, and then it was Persona 5 and stuff like that. But, stop doing that. Stop doing that. So that would just be like, for instance, Spider-Man is slated to come out here in October. Right. Then all of a sudden, people are anticipating it. People are already excited. They have already beaten Final Fantasy, whatever game that PlayStation might have on their console. And then all of a sudden in September, they're saying, at the end of September, then they say, well, due to these reasons, that reasons, blah, blah, blah. Well, the game is not ready. Your whole gaming, cycle is all jacked up because you were anticipating this long, deep run into a game that you've been anticipating. And that's happened to me too many times. So now I don't really get too excited about the dates until we get to the point to when they say that the game goes gold. That's when I get excited about it, right? Like I don't even get excited for the pre-orders or any of that because we've seen that when they started games on pre-orders and things like that. Yeah. And
they refunded everybody.
Right. So I don't even take it with a grain of salt. Like I just take it with a grain of salt now because I just don't trust it. There's just too many games. And then on top of that, like it's sometimes games just kind of make me, when they drop dates for certain games, and I'm like, they do know that there's going to be this game, that game, this game, and this might be a new title. Like for instance, the Avatar game. Yeah, that just seems like a weird date to me. That seemed like that game is screaming to be delayed until first quarter of next year. It just screams that to me. Now it still could come out in December, but something just is right there because there's been so many delays. Like I don't see that game. I know that in December now they're starting to put games in that slot. And it's fine because there's really nothing else that's coming that's going to be on that level. So it's smart for that reason. But I just still don't know if that game is still going to be coming out in December.
See, and that's why I have a cause for pause. Like this whole thing with Ark Survival Ascended. It's not Ark 2. It's the like I said. It's the like. So what they're doing, the reason that they have this whole Ark Survival Ascended is because the whole Ark Survival Evolved, the servers are getting shut down and those servers are moving over to Ark Survival Ascended. Okay? And that's going to be the new version of Ark Survival Evolved, but it's going to be in Unreal Engine 5, which is supposed to be dope. And right. It's more or less supposed to train you and get you ready for the new Ark that's going to be coming out. So some things are going to be different in Ark Survival Ascended than was in Ark Survival Evolved. But the thing is they slated, or they at least made this roadmap telling everybody that the game will be coming out in late August. Well, it's almost July now, and we still don't have a date for that. It's technically not delayed quite yet, but from the way things look, and if we're forecasting as gamers that we are that hang around these streets quite a bit, that doesn't look too promising. You know what I mean?
Right. No, you're right. It doesn't.
So that's really the whole pause for the situation. But anyways, I want to get back to some other news and whatnot, because
you're gonna have to give me this picture. You're gonna have to give me this pic. So I'm gonna put this on GRG Friday. I'm digging it.
Oh, I'm digging it. Yeah. I'm
digging
feeling
it.
doning.
I'm feeling only thing he needs is the OKC hat, man, or the GRG hat, bro. I need to give me some
Photoshop a
GRG
hat on him,
bro. I think I might do that, man. I think, man, yeah, man. I might Photoshop the GRG hat on him, man. Yeah, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know. I don't. This man is trying to let y'all think that this character looks like me. I just think this man is just biased towards heavy-set, light-skinned men. But that's okay. That's okay.
Bro. I'm a heavy-set, light-skinned brother myself.
Yeah, but you ain't. But I'm bald-headed, so I think he's just got a, you know what I'm saying, bald-headed, heavy-set, light-skinned men. I think that's what this is.
I'm biased to those of you that have dysfunctioning hair or receding lines.
Yeah, yours is coming. Yours is coming, bro. It's on the way.
Oh no, man. I mean, I was sitting there thinking so, but I mean, I got a couple people telling me that I'm looking good over here. Man. Okay, it's looking flawless, like these amulets I be picking up in the
man, you better take that mush woolly hair and just cut it into a fade, man. Go ahead and just rock it out, man. It's almost over for it. It's almost over.
All right. Well, speaking of almost over, there's been a lot of PlayStations as of lately that have been almost over. It's getting hot. Whoa. It is getting spicy. The new Final Fantasy 16 game done dropped, and a lot of people have some fantastic reviews for it. And I tell you, from a person in my standpoint, I don't give a damn about Final Fantasy, not because of the same reason that Lemon or K Mega says, because I mean they actually were Final Fantasy fans before the whole Yoshi P statement started rolling out. But for me, I've never been a Final Fantasy fan at all. But it's interesting to see what's going on over, on the PlayStation with how that game is running, because I myself have had some pretty interesting things happen with the console after running a game that was extremely taxing on it. So if you guys remember, just going to just a generation back, having like an Xbox One X and the game Borderlands 3.
Yes. Bro. That was that Xbox One X was fighting for its damn life. That thing was cutting off. That thing was hot. It went out on me a few times. And believe it or not, when I was playing Crossfire X, there was a scene before the last scene. Well, I should say before the last stage or chapter. Right at the end of that chapter of the fourth chapter, I believe, or whatever the next to the last chapter was. At the end, my Series X was, that fan was kicking, Jack, and I'm like, what the hell?
For what game?
For Crossfire X, because there was yes, bro.
You making me sick.
No. For the story mode, that game looks very impressive. Like I don't think people had a good understanding of how good that game looked and played. But there was at the end of that chapter, next to the last chapter, there was all this stuff going on. You had all these enemies coming at you. You had all these particle effects. You got to do a lot of running and jumping and blowing and explosions. There's a lot of stuff going on at one time. And at that particular point, because I thought, I was like, whoa, that's got to be a glitch or something. The fan would go, I mean, it was a loud. I'm like, what the hell? So I cut the Xbox off because I'm like, I thought the damn thing was about to go. Went back, played it again. It did it again. So I'm like, well, look, I got a warranty, so I'm just going to see. I want to finish this game. If this thing breaks, this is going to be the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, and I'm going to post about it, right? It went through it, but it was crazy how loud that fan got, and it played through it. Didn't have no hitches, nothing, didn't cut off anything, but that fan was blowing, Jack. And once that scene was over and got back to, to like a CG sequence, it was absolutely fine. And even for the last scene, there was more explosions and things like that going on in the last chapter, it was kind of wild. The fan didn't make that noise. So obviously it was something that within that area in that part of the game where the Series X was tripping out. But no, I haven't had a game yet to make my Series X cut off. So it's very unfortunate about the people's PlayStation 5s. But remember, the PlayStation 5s was running hot at the begining of the gen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with Demon Souls, a lot of people was having a lot of problem with Demon
Souls. Remember,
yeah.
What was his name? Austin Evans came out and he got destroyed by the media because he came out and said that, yo, this heatsink isn't as good as the previous heatsink.
Right.
When they reintroduced the PS5 with like a new heatsink to try to I guess to make it cheaper, right? Was that the reason?
Yeah, so it was cheaper.
And it was crazy because as soon as they made it cheaper to make, they bumped up the price for the PS5. Mm-hmm. And Austin Evans is out here like using his heat gun on stuff and saying, yo, this is hotter, and then all these other tech places were like, no, it's not. You're lying. Right. And now we're here.
Yep. Again,
where there is 3 different SKUs, I believe, like versions of the PlayStation, and I think the second one is having the most issues. The one after right after the first one, which is the one that Austin was talking about. Yeah. So it's just right back at this situation where I just don't know who to believe, right? But at the same time, I'm starting to get the evidence right dead in my face.
Another thing that people need to realize too is that the PlayStation 5 is overclocked. And if you have anything that's overclocked, over time, it's going to put more wear and tear into your system.
Especially if you leave it on.
Right. And especially if you leave it on the standby mode or whatever. That's why when people, and that makes a lot of sense why there were a lot of people saying, man, just cut your PlayStation 5s off, because people were having a lot of issues with it. So the durability of the PlayStation 5, I don't think is a long lasting console because of the overclocking. And so that's and so I didn't know really too much about any of that until until I upgraded on my PC, and then my graphics card it's meant to be overclocked, but I refused to do it because over time, as much money as I spent on this thing, I want it to last as long as possible until I replace it.
Yeah,
and that ain't no time.
My 3080 is a OC. It's an OC version, so and it has the option for quiet mode and performance. I just keep it on quiet.
Yeah. I
don't need 5 because a lot of the times, and Mike said this in our party, Hard Days Mike, shout out to him. He said this in our party, and a lot of us can relate to it. It's like, dude, half the time you get like 5 more FPS max. It doesn't overclock and give you like another 20 or 30.
100, yeah. Like it's not even that serious. Like, I mean, that's what I'm saying. And I'm not a frames per second whore like that anyway. I do enjoy it, seeing it, but I don't mind playing games on 30 frames per second. And I don't mind playing games at 240 frames per second. I don't care. It's just, for me, it's just whatever the experience. The experience feels smooth enough for me to get through. I'm fine. I'm not at that level yet to where, oh man, when you play 60, because I have played games in 60, I have played games in 130, but I come right back to the Xbox and play something else that's at 30. I don't care. Or even playing older stuff, like you play something that's on the 360 that's maybe 20 frames per second, but it's I don't know, man. It just doesn't affect me like that. What affects me more than anything with the frame issue is the stuttering. I don't like that. And I'm not a fan of the tearing either. Those things bother me. Frames per second is not the thing that bothers me on that aspect. Is it smooth? That's all I care about. But yeah, no, it's unfortunate, but it seems like this is a reoccurring thing with the PlayStation 5s. I think that they're definitely going to be making on a PlayStation Pro because of the fact that because they can get those PlayStations out before they all start really clanking. Because I feel that this is going to be a long generation. And if you got your PlayStation 5 from the beginning and if you game heavy on it, I don't know if I don't know if it will stand going through a whole, let's say, 8-year generation. I don't think it, you know what I'm saying? I think that thing is gonna burn itself up, you know, and especially when you got games that's gonna be more powerful and more, you know, saying more tech savvy and all that other stuff. Like it's just too much load on these consoles. And so that's why they have to make the decision. That's why I think that maybe even they said that the Series X don't need a pro version, but I still think that the Series X is going to get a pro version. At some point, I think that they both will have pro versions just for this reason, because of what's going to be required for these games going forward. Because these people are now starting with the Unreal Engine, and just with their innovation of what they can do within these games, they're going to be bigger in scale, scope. I mean, look at Final Fantasy 16. Level of graphic detail and things like that. Looks stunning, looks beautiful. It would have made me decide to get a PlayStation 5 if it wasn't for Brother Man sitting here saying what he said about the game. I'm like, oh, well, okay, never mind. There was an opportunity there, but nope, still won't get it. Just wait. And I'm not even going to buy the game, even if it comes to PC. So I ain't waiting for shit, actually. So it's just one of the things for me is like, if this becomes more of a problem, I hope the PlayStation community and the gaming community, you know, stand together and try to get that resolved. Because you know how PlayStation is. If these people, you know, they'll try to find a way to weasel out of you know, losing money. And if these people have been breaking open these consoles and putting in these M.2s and things like that, and they might try to hit them and say, well, you know, that's a clause because you open up the console and shit like that. You got to watch out for, you know, stuff like that, because it's not only with PlayStation, but like even on the PC, there's like issues with motherboards from Asus. And, you know, people were trying to get a refund, and they were trying to find ways to not give those refunds. No. Yeah, and stuff like that. So, so you just got to watch out and just pay attention. That's why sometimes with these products, you might have to get double warranties. Like if you get a warranty through the store, also try to get another warranty through Sony or Microsoft, you know, as well. Or just like with TVs, because I make sure that I get double the warranties, just because you just never know. Anything faulty can happen, and it might not be your fault, but then they might try to find a way to get out of it, or that your warranty expires. So just be on the lookout for that stuff. Yeah.
Shout out to the Don and Matt Likes Games for popping through Go Po as well. I actually see some fantastic things in the chat that I wanted to kind of bring up and talk about before we move on to the second to last topic. Whatchamacallit? Well, first of all, the Don says the PS5 is not overclocked.
They said that it was.
So that's what the Don says.
Okay. All right.
Argue what you're saying. But Back from the Dead says something that's really interesting in my opinion. He says, are we looking at a red ring situation for the PS5? Now that I don't know. I mean, to me, I'd have to see multiple games make this.
Yeah, it has to be. It has to be more widespread.
Yeah, it'd have to be more just widespread for this situation. I mean, a few people online saying it, and Austin saying, you know, it's hotter. I mean, that might be for a specific, like a specific edition of that PS5. Like I said, they had like 3 different SKUs or 3 different like versions of the same console with heat sinks. So I'm really interested about that. But Matt Likes Games says something about the whole Xbox Pro thing that you were just talking about. Okay, Mega. He says gonna be hard to sell a Xbox Series X Pro because the big game will be Starfield. Unless they add an entirely different CPU, Starfield will still be 30 FPS. Going to be hard to sell Xbox Series X Pros. How do you feel about that?
No, I don't. You know what I'm saying? I mean, 30 frames per second is just not going to go anywhere. What this will be is that if they have a pro version, then they'll do what they did with last gen's games that only had one frame or one certain frame or whatever, where they would do the enhanced modes. So where Starfield is 30 frames per second now, a pro version you would have the option to have a better quality mode, or you would have a 60 frames per second mode. That would be the thing for people that are about frames and power and things like that, to where that would attract people to having a pro. I mean, just think of it logically. If pros weren't if from his logic that, well, pros wouldn't sell, like pro editions of consoles wouldn't sell, and I think every iteration I've bought a pro iteration. I don't know about you, Ham, but I think most people, if they are as deep into the gaming space and they just want the newer and best thing, they will get a pro version. And just like if Xbox offers a pro version, I will get it. So
I see that, K-Mega, but I can see what he's saying too, in like the expectation may not differ a whole lot. Just with
they'll still be 30 frames per second. Yeah, they'll still be 30 frames per second games. Exactly. No doubt about it. Yeah, or the option. Yeah.
And the Don in the chat also says the problem with the design was the use of liquid metal.
Okay.
Which, I mean, a lot of people have been saying that for quite some time now. Like, why did they use this? So that's interesting.
Okay. Oh yeah, and I just looked and read about. Because there was a bunch of articles that was saying that the PlayStation 5 was overclocked. And then here in this that was put out in February 15th, 2023, it was like, there was this, they said, unfortunately, we cannot overclock the PlayStation 5, and we don't think you will we won't be able to anytime soon. The PlayStation 5 is a specific set of hardware that is designed to operate in certain ways. Okay, so my bad on that. I'm just going about the information that was given from the gaming media from all over the place that it was overclocked. And now you see an article in February 2015. So again, that's where I got it from. So yeah, I have no problem being corrected. So yeah, as long as we get it right. So yes,
and then Rachie in the chat says, remember, most of Xbox's players have been enjoying Halo Infinite at 30 frames on the Xbox One. Oh, Lord Almighty. All right, let me go on ahead and move on to the next topic.
Listen to that.
Yeah, that's something. But the second to last topic I wanted to bring up here, which is boom, right there. The Xbox exclusive Perfect Dark release is years away due to development struggles. Bro, do you think this game has a possibility of getting canceled, K-Mega, or do you think that they are 100% gonna ride this out and make sure that it works and everything?
I think after Xbox acquires Crystal Dynamics, it won't be a factor. They'll just go ahead and get that. I think the writing's on the wall for that. So Sir X-Man might be really happy about that. Now I don't know about the Tomb Raider franchise, but I think that Xbox is one of Xbox's next moves is to go in after Crystal Dynamics, and that's one of the people that's the studio that's working on Perfect Dark. So, I don't think the game is going to get canned. I think that the game is just they remember there was a lot of studio heads that left. A lot of devs, really big time devs that left. Some went back to PlayStation, others went, scattered to other places. And so when you start having someone else come in and take over, I think that that's going to have some kind of effect on the timing of when a game is supposed to release. I think from what the article was also saying is that it's still going to be episodic. So I think that's going to be a really cool dynamic, very different. But I don't think the game is going to get delayed. And I personally feel that if the game needs the time, this isn't 2017's Xbox, where people are waiting for content to drop or worried that there's no content to be dropped. We just seen a show that everybody raved about that the games are coming, and I mean they're coming just in a couple of months, and then after that it's just going to, we've already been getting the games, but we're going to continue to get the games. So we got a roadmap. If they need the 2 to 3 years, I don't see why anybody would be upset about that. We don't even know enough about the game to really get all up in arms to say, well, we need to have it right now. Like, that to me is like, let these developers cook. These games, these big budget games that people have been asking for, these games do not just pop up overnight. I mean, when you look at case in point with Spider-Man, where a lot of people complain, yeah, Spider-Man came out in 5 years after its previous game, and people are complaining because the game doesn't look to them like a major leap. In order for them to make that major leap, you probably would need another additional 3 years to work on that game, to work on Spider-Man, to make it look like what some people have been wanting it to or expected it to. But what they did is just use the same assets, put a lot of polish on it. Looks like the game's going to be fun as hell. I can't wait to play it.
And they did add new things to it to make it more this generation than the previous, with the speed that you're able to fly through town, being able to pull back and just like yank yourself around. I think it's going to be, and if you look at some of the textures too, like the water and stuff like that, like, you can tell like this is better than last, but is it so telling as I don't know.
No, it's not telling. It's not
it's not a crazy jump like what you would see in, I don't know.
And neither was God of War, right?
Yeah, and I'm sitting here trying to use these examples from PlayStation's own stuff, and I mean, here's a good jump right here. Horizon Zero Dawn to Forbidden West. That's a leap. That's a massive leap. Like that look, you just see that. Okay, but Spider-Man and God of War doesn't have that. And so my point with that is you can't do that. When people are expecting games to be built from the ground up, it's going to take more time. It's not going to be as fast as when PlayStation pumping out those games. That's why I was bringing up Spider-Man. Like, that game already had a foundation. They're already working on it. Perfect Dark, Fable, those games are, built from the ground up, and it's going to take more time. So that's why I'm like, and then like I was having a conversation with somebody and they were saying, well, the initiative is not Rockstar. We don't know. They could, from what they said, that this was a quadruple esque studio. So if they are labeling themselves as a big time studio like that, then yeah, they are Rockstar esque. We just need to see if the product is going to be out there. So just can't be too impatient, can't be too impatient when the games are coming, when we see that the games are coming, when we know that the games are coming. So I just think that, hey, it is what it is. But I don't, Perfect Dark, if it's going to take 2 or 3 more years, I don't have a problem with it whatsoever. And nobody else should. Mr. Big Mad Mo in the chat being mad disrespectful, saying a leap from boring to snoring.
Damn, boy,
talking about Horizon.
Yeah, Horizon Forbidden West. God dang, stop that, bro. Stop that. Don't do that.
That was unnecessary. But anyways, shout out to Mr. Walker in the chat as well, saying Matt Booty recently said he was playing a build of Perfect Dark and it felt good. He said the same about Fable last year, and we all see what Fable now looks like, and I can't deny the man is completely wrong, because that game was looking crispy,
and it might be 2025 title. You see what I'm saying? So it just developing. I mean, I know that some people don't like hearing about the pandemic, but the pandemic caused some issues. So it set things back. It caused issues. No matter how you want to slice it, want to try to dissect it and say this and that, the pandemic caused issues. Hell, if it caused issues with us regular folk, what do you think, and just the businesses around for the jobs that we worked at and things like that, what do you think that it did to big conglomerates in the industry that, that like it affected everybody. So it's really not like it. Yeah. So, and that's why a lot of people are happy that it's done. But I do, I am a little tired of the delays. I'm not tired of the delays. I'm just tired of the announcement, and then you bring the delay.
You see that paper. You see that little thing come on Twitter with the little box around it or something like that, and you're just like, oh, here we go.
Here we go. Like, yeah, no, you get tired of seeing that. Just don't put a projection. I know that they have to, but they have to work on that. But we never got an official date, and that's why another thing is like why people would get mad about it. We've never got an official date for Perfect Dark. They showed
not even close.
Yeah, keep it moving. Stop bitching about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you act.
Well, see, here's the thing,
like they don't have games to play right now.
Here's the thing, K-Mega. Xbox has some interesting and fun news.
Yeah.
What happens once Xbox has any type of news that's positive?
Well, of course, it always gets shut down.
Negativity, man.
Right. But it's usually from their own Xbox, from the own Xbox gamers, and that baffles me. Like, how is it an L that a game that now L is a cancellation? That's an L. An L is how Redfall launched.
It's funny it's funny that you brought that up because this Perfect Dark article that I'm talking about. Guess where it came from?
Where?
Windows Central.
Ah, yeah. See.
So it's just like self-harm. Yeah, is at all-time high right now.
All-time high. Like, I mean, I don't take it as, to me, reading it, after reading it, I don't take it as
it's
negative.
Not super slanderous, no, but like slanderous. The title and the way that they get you to read in the article is fearmonger.
Right. Yeah.
So like when you see the Xbox exclusive Perfect Dark is years away from release, you get a sense of maybe comfort, but then you read the last part due to development struggles. It's like, oh, great.
Right. Like, I mean,
here we go again.
Don, I don't know if Don is still in the chat, but I mean, this is one of those things right here that just that there's always struggles. There's always internal struggles within development because they're trying to figure out what they want to do with the game. They have that's why they call those like table discussions war rooms, because everybody has a different thought on and a different vision. And then when they finally get it together on what they all agree with, then that's when they start getting the development right. Like, see, you're right. It's clickbait. And I get it. But when you're trying to make a game from an old franchise and redo it, I could tell you, like, right now, like, I mean, just hearing, I mean, and people know this about Halo. People, when Halo was first, they was having all different types. They was hitting the reset button because they didn't know what they really wanted to do. They had eternal fighting, all of that. I don't think I mean, I'm sure the same thing happens in Naughty Dog and Insomniac and everywhere else. Like, I just think that it's when you got a whole bunch of people working on something and they got a vision for something is going to have to get canceled out, and somebody's going to get pissed off about it. You know what I'm saying? And some people might quit because they feel like because their word didn't, somebody else's vision got taken over theirs, and they probably like, no, I'll go somewhere else. I ain't trying to deal with this shit. And then other times they'll just go ahead and succumb to the throat needle, but then maybe get guaranteed, like when the next game that we work on, or if we work on a sequel, your vision will come into that. Like, I'm sure that there's all those type of negotiations and things like that. So of course they're going to be hitting the reset button on certain times. I mean, hell, there was like I said, when you lose staff like you did, those people's vision probably weren't on the same lines as the people that are there now. So they're probably like, well, since these people ain't here, I didn't like the shit that they wanted to do. Let's go ahead and just do it our way now. I don't know. I mean, I just think that just makes sense. I just think that's just what's going on. So I just think that it's more of a thing to where people, I don't know, the gaming community is so weird sometimes. Like they were just, and they seem like they forget about their own history. Like, because I'm seeing some of these people that doing the complaining, they were so hyped every year talking about Spider-Man or Kojima's game, Death Stranding. And for every year, or Final Fantasy, when Final Fantasy remake was first announced, every year talking about, I can't wait, I can't wait, I can't wait, I can't wait, I can't wait. Like, and you heard about the issues with Final Fantasy 15 remake. Like they had to hit the reset button a few times for that. But did the game finally come out? Yes, it did. Was it a good game? It was damn good. So I don't. Why when it comes to an Xbox game that then people can't have that same type of energy or that same type of motivation of still being hyped for something is really, really asinine to me, honestly.
Absolutely. Oh man.
Yeah.
So it just sucks to see some people try to make clickbait articles out of it. But right. I mean, as long as you read into some of these articles, let's keep it a buck. Hey, make clickbait ain't never going to quit.
No.
I mean, as long as they can take somebody's mind and like get it jumbled for a moment until they get into the space and read what's really going on, they're going to continue to do that because that drives clicks. I mean, some of these companies are worse about it than others when it comes to how like soulless that they kind of can be when it comes to like putting these articles out. And like a lot of us don't like Kotaku, right? And I'm sure K-Mega, you have a few other sites that you're just like, dude, I don't go there because they're just terrible.
Right. No, they are. Yeah.
But let's go on ahead and hop into this last subject because I got to get ready to go to the doctors. I got to get a shot.
In your ass? I knew it.
No, not in my damn ass, you freak. I gotta get a shot in my back.
Tell your wife. Tell your
my
wife,
man.
For he ain't no good. He got his feet done, and look at this
my
man.
This man messed up. Oh my goodness!
Oh man!
No
penicillin. That man burning. Hey, not only the PlayStation 5 hot, ham hot. Let's go. It's getting hot in here. So take off all your clothes. Oh my goodness, Paul.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Put them back on, K-Mega. Relax. But anyways, we got 33 people here listening. Hit that like button. I appreciate y'all for coming through. I'm seeing a lot of familiar faces I've seen on other people's podcasts, so I appreciate y'all coming through, giving you boys some time of your day. I really appreciate that. But the last topic that we're going to talk about real quick here, and just to keep in mind, next week we are having this very same show on K-Mega's channel on K-Mega 405, the same channel that he does GRG podcast on. So just keep that in mind. But this very last topic that I wanted to talk about real quick, very interesting as well, is the whole FTC case against Microsoft and Activision with how they teamed up with Sony, and you know that case is still going and whatnot. Paul Tassi actually has this article right here, and I just wanted to read off something that he said that I thought was pretty interesting. So he stated that while I've said before that I'm not the biggest fan of Microsoft Activision Blizzard acquisition, that's because I'm skeptical of the overall industry of consolidation at this scale. I can't really say that I can make any legal argument there. I just don't love the idea of $70 billion takeover of a publisher when the last one, Bethesda, for $7 billion, already felt a bit much at the teeth of a bite much at a teeth of the size. I don't know why he wrote it like that. Okay. But if Sony and the FTC are doing everything they can do to block the deal, they're doing a very, very bad job of it. As evidenced by this week's hearing, what exactly happened this week, where to start. So I'm going to go ahead and read these bullet points, and then after we read the bullet points, you can go on ahead, K-Mega, and just kind of lay it on thick. All right, bruh?
All right, cool.
All right, so or actually, let's go at it bullet point by bullet point. I think that'd be kind of fun.
All right, that's better.
So that way we don't skip over one and completely forget about An email was revealed from PlayStation PlayStation head Jim Ryan saying that he did not actually believe Microsoft would remove Call of Duty from the system, and they would be more than okay if the deal went through, contrary to their public statement. What do you got to say about that, bro?
Well, we all knew that Jim Ryan was lying. And I mean, they're trying to play chess and checkers and everything else to try to make this deal not go through. I mean, they wanted to look at what they tried to do at the beginning was try to make try to get the public's perception of like Sony is getting pushed around by this big conglomerate. We're like a Sony. Here at Sony, we're a mom and pop store. We're a little mortar store. We don't, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we're brick and mortar. We you know what I'm saying? Like, and this big blockbuster is coming around the corner and trying to shut us down, and we're fighting for our damn lives. We've
been here 30 years, and we've been doing it all by ourselves.
Right? We're just a mom and pop, and we care about the people and the community. That's all we're here for.
We're doing fair deals for everybody.
Fair deals for everybody. We would never do this to Microsoft. We could buy studios, but we just decide not to because we just don't have the money for it because we're just doing the organic growth, and it to the CMA it worked. Because the CMA,
they bought it. They
bought it. Hook, line, and sinker, right? And then the FTC, look at, shout out to Linda Khan. I think that you should be fired. Democrat to Democrat, you need to get your ass out of there. She need to go because you're wasting my taxpayer dollars and colluding with the CMA. This is far from just being speculation. This is evident. And you want to win so bad that you will harm two American companies that's trying to compete against foreign entities that has been practicing shady practices for decades. Are you kidding me? Like, none of these people didn't do their proper research. And it makes me sick. And like I said, the public perception, that's what Sony was trying to do, because for the most part, Sony gets that perception, and because they got they have more of the content creators, they got more of the they got more of the media on their side, so they're looked at as the darling. So therefore, they was thinking that this would work. But everybody's seen through this except for the CMA, and I think the FTC knows what's going on. But the FTC just wants a win against these big tech companies. But like you said, Jim Ryan got out there, said what he had to say. It worked to a degree, because it almost seemed like, well, if the EU agreed with the CMA, then this deal was done, because then you had the FTC having more power to shut this down. And I don't even think the hearing would make any changes, because if you had those two companies, I mean those two regions out there in Europe, it just would have fell through. It just wouldn't have happened. But that's not the case. All these other countries are siding with this. I mean, Brazil said had the best quote by saying, "Look, we're here for our customers. We're not here for corporations." And look, earn it. You came into the space. You did it the way that you had to do it. Now it seems like you're dealing with a bigger fish, and this bigger fish is not settling. And so now you're gonna have to figure another way to innovate and to maintain your status in the gaming console space. That's just competition. So it is pretty crazy to me, but I don't know. What's your thoughts, man? I think Jim Ryan came in there trying to do his thing, but it's almost seeming like it's backfiring, especially after the emails.
I thought it was hilarious. I was sitting there shaking your picture to pretend that you were talking.
Good deal. Good deal. Because I am animated. My hands is moving. You know what I'm saying? I am moving my head and shit. Yeah. So yeah. Keep it doing. When I'm talking, just shake it. Just shake it. You're ridiculous.
Just give Donan a good shaking. I got you.
Right. Give a good shaking. That's the K-Mega way right there. Oh my God, you're so messy.
So in my opinion, I don't think Jim was really buying that it was going to get this far.
You could be right.
And he didn't think. I mean, we already know Jim Ryan is a fumbler when it comes to words. Yeah. Not the best at it.
Right.
I mean, look at the way he chose to come to court.
Right.
That is
a video.
Mega telling sign.
Yes.
Like, bro doesn't want it.
No. He don't want to get there. He don't want to get that grilling. And he wanted it to be. He didn't want it to make it public either. That's what's also the telling thing too. Like he wanted to make sure that it was not going to be talked about. I mean, be heard by the people that could listen. Yeah, you're right.
Well, see, in my opinion as well is like Jim Ryan, he may have been a little naive on the direction that Xbox was trying to go with getting this deal as well, and how much this could possibly help Xbox in the long run, and how PlayStation is now going to have to put more money now than before, because they're already putting some money in Xbox's pockets with things from like Mojang and whatnot. But this is deep. And in my opinion, I'm thinking they also may have seen the deals on the wall and seen that, oh, snap, this is the deal that y'all want to give us? Y'all don't want to honor the same and keep it moving forward like before? I mean, I'm going to get the same deal as maybe like Nintendo or NVIDIA? Like that, compared to the 80-20 I forced y'all into.
Boy, yeah. You had to give us 30%?
Yeah, like this ain't looking near as scrumptious as before. So I think Jim is backing out. And he got a little frustrated on what he's seen and what the future looks like. And he is like, I better do something about this. I better call my boys to see what's going on. So I personally think that's what's kind of happened. And obviously they were. He got caught. He got caught slipping. He got caught slipping, saying something that he shouldn't have been saying from the jump. And they pulling his card. They're pulling his card definitely on that one. But moving on to the next bullet point, which let me see. We only got 2 more bullet points really. So. And plus, I got to get out of here in about 15 minutes. I'm sorry, y'all, but I got to get to that doctor's appointment.
Oh, yeah, no. Get that shot in that ass. He burning.
Yeah, you stop it. You stop with that garbage, bro.
That ass is hot, boy. Boy, please, ladies and gentlemen, understand.
Anyways, moving on. The next bullet point says the FTC has been hyper-focused on the concept of Microsoft's exclusives through the deal like this, both in terms of the game themselves and also content within those games. Essentially, no attention has been paid to Sony's grand list of exclusives they are, of course, not offering to Microsoft.
Yeah, no, I mean, Bill,
hyper-focused.
Hyper-focused.
I hate to cut you off, K-Mega, but
no, you're fine.
Hyper-focused in the sense of asking about a Disney IP before even looking at their own. I mean, this is how you can tell that the FTC said fuck research.
Oh yeah.
They completely said forget about research, or either they said forget about research, or they have some serious, mysterious plan that this is all gonna, come back around. Where I just don't see it. But how do you ask them about, why are you keeping Indiana Jones when the people that own the IP is giving Sony Spider-Man, which you could argue is bigger than Indiana Jones.
Oh, by far. Yeah. No, I mean, by far. Like, I mean, nobody in their right mind would say Indiana Jones is going to be as big as Spider-Man. Spider-Man is like what Matt said last night. Like, I mean, Spider-Man is the biggest superhero, the biggest superhero out in the world. Like, so it's like,
now, yeah, everybody knows who Spider-Man is.
Yeah, everybody knows
Michael
who
Jackson
Spider-Man
outside.
is. Right. Oh, shit, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Shit. And while Indiana Jones is Tone Loc. Come on now.
Indiana Jones like Tupac. He knows really good in America.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you can't go
Tupac,
to
Tupac became international though. So like
he did become international, but that's what I'm saying. Indiana Jones is international as well. But if you walk into 9 out of 10 people's homes,
I got you. Right.
Overseas and say who's Tupac, they might shrug their shoulders and say they might be the dude downtown. I don't know. But if you ask them,
Tupac,
who the hell is Michael Jackson, they gonna start dancing.
Right, they gonna start screaming. So yeah, they were passing out. Anyway, but yeah, that's what's crazy about this whole thing. Like when Phil Spencer, and I was so happy because Sarah Bond was first to bring up about PlayStation exclusives. They kind of over talked her and kept talking about like the just about the service and Game Pass itself and all of that. And then so much so that the judge was impressed with Game Pass and it almost sounded like she was ready to sign up. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got a kid that plays games. You know what I mean? What you talking about, saving all this money? And then, but when Phil Spencer brought it up, it's brought up about Spider-Man. The lawyer said, "No questions, Your Honor." That was it. And then the judge was like, well, and then that's when he went into going and talking about like, and then that's when the judge asked him about put him on oath, said, hey, on the stand said, hey, will you give us your oath here on the stand that you will keep having Call of Duty on the PlayStation? And then after that, she was like, she's ready to go to lunch. She's like, shit, we hungry. You know what I'm saying? You keep asking the same questions, but keep ignoring the fact that when Phil was bringing up other exclusives like Final Fantasy, like Spider-Man, like other games like that, and then breaking down to you how shady Sony has been on keeping these games off of the platform. Bro, and they had nothing to say. They kept ignoring it and going on. And of course, we know that that's their case, but that's what made the FTC look so bad is because they didn't have a rebuttal for any time that when Phil or Sarah Bond brought that up, that they could have something to counteract that. The only time that they counteracted it was at the end when they was talking about the $71 billion that they paid for because Xbox was in third place.
Going up?
I think because they
started
added
the 60s.
It was 69. It was 68 or 60, but I think they put all together 71.
Then it's 69. Now then it's 70. Now it's 71. Like what's going on?
Well, I think because I think they said the 68 or 69 or whatever is because they excluded the $3 billion that goes straight to Bobby Kotick pockets. So I think that's what that is. But that's why I think that they put it at 68 or whatever. But they saying 71, so I'm saying 71. But that's the whole point. And then maybe that's a little thing of them. They keep raising the price up to make it sound like that Microsoft is paying more than I don't know, whatever. But that's the problem of it is that like, listen, if you're going to stand up for PlayStation or for in your arguments to go against this deal, it has to be, well, you have to have something to push back on why PlayStation is doing their exclusivity and it's fair. You see what I'm saying? But they don't have an argument. So that's why this looks so bad. It's just horrible. It's horrible.
All right. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't even feel like I have to say anything about this. Just reading this statement is just like pretty telling on its own. Like the grand list of exclusives, we all knew it. We've been told it, us as Xbox fans, on a daily basis on like social media and stuff like that, hey, y'all got no games, y'all got no exclusives, what's Xbox Studios doing, yada, yada, yada. And now, as soon as they're trying to make a purchase for something, then it comes into question why we are trying to have any exclusives at all. when the other person on the other side, when the person across the street got exclusives after exclusives after exclusives, and it's not just first party PlayStation exclusives, it's exclusives from third party platforms. As we just got done talking about the whole disrespect that was given from Activision to Xbox because of what PlayStation decided to pay Activision. I mean, that's just one situation. Who knows? I mean, Phil Spencer said that he had to get back on the phone with Square Enix again. I wonder how many times he's had to make that phone call just to get denied. Or just to get told that he has to pay something disrespectful in comparison to the opposition.
Right, and during that interview with Jeff Grubb after the Xbox event, Phil even, said it again, like, our friends at Square Enix, we're still trying to work to get Final Fantasy. Like, that's just telling of how in cahoots that the industry has. Like, they have favorites, and that shouldn't be anything. If anything, for me, is that where I take the biggest positive is that not only that we know more about what's going on in the gaming industry, but so does these politicians. So does the people that, outside that may have some that cares about one, that's interested or whatever. They understand this now. Like, because not only about the money, but then just how cutthroat it is to this, where the trade, especially with, the US and Japanese trade market, like, Sony has been breaking that and violating that for decades. Like, you can't, that shit is illegal. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to have some kind of, something kind of pushback. So of course that the only thing that Microsoft can do is just like, look, man, our hands is tied. We're going to have to acquire studios or publishers in order for us to have gaming content. And now we see that we have, it's so much so that PlayStation is kind of put us in a position to where we have to accept that we are third place, maybe second at best. We'll never get that first place spot in the console space. So we have to go through another avenue. And that's why we're going through mobile. And we're also going to be doing, and through the services, the Game Pass avenue, which has been doing well for them. But, when they go ahead and acquire Activision, it's going to be more profitable. So if I'm thinking, maybe hopefully in the long run, Don has his reservations, as he was saying on GRG Friday night. But I just see, but the money is going to be coming in. They might definitely have more problems because they'll have all these damn studios. But
facts.
Shit. But but that money ain't going to be a problem there for a while.
That's true. And and in business, money can fix a lot of things. So
right, mask a lot of stuff.
Facts. But all right, so the last point before we get up out of here that I wanted to bring up, that Paul Tassi said in his article, is that one of the most tone deaf moments was when the FTC started asking if it meant the acquisition could produce exclusive costume or items for Xbox and not PlayStation. This is quite literally exactly the kind of exclusive content that was produced for PlayStation as a result of past deals from Activision. Isn't that something?
Bro, that blew my mind. That blew my mind. They were like, well, so you admit, so he was like, can you say on oath that you will put all of your games, all your games on PlayStation for all the studios you acquired? Phil was, you couldn't see it, but I could just imagine what Phil's face looked like. What?
Just in distraught.
Like, motherfucker, are you for real? And then, like, did you not hear anything that I said? And then when he kept on asking that, and then he started bringing up different games. He's like, Elder Scrolls 6. And Phil was like, Elder Scrolls 6 is like 5-6 years away. Like, I'm not going to project on if that game is going to be on Xbox exclusively another, which we know it will. But he's like, that game is not even in production. It's not even being developed yet. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's pre-production, but that's not.
They're trying to get things written into the future.
Yeah. And then he's talking about, well, what about Diablo? Will Diablo come to the PlayStation, will remain on the PlayStation. Bro, what is PlayStation going to you know what I'm saying? What is PlayStation going to offer Xbox? Like that was the thing that blew my mind. And then the judge had enough. That's when she shut his ass down, like the ATF. She was like, "Nah, bro, stop it.
Yeah.
No, we're
she
done."
She said something very specific. I remember. I had it down. Oh yeah. She said, "I don't need that. I'm cutting off your questioning."
Yeah, like he kept asking it, like Phil, like I'm saying, like what are you under oath? Because it seemed like he was pissed off, which I'm sure because that was pretty much the kamehameha of the whole trial, where Phil gave his oath that this game was going to be played on. I mean, that Call of Duty would remain on PlayStation, and then after they came from lunch or from lunch, Phil came back and doubled down and said, "Look, I know that there's been people out there on social media and others are saying like it will just be on PlayStation 5. If PlayStation will allow it, we will put it on PlayStation 5 and future iterations, Call of Duty on PlayStation and future iterations of PlayStation going forward." To kill that whole argument, because that's what it's basically all about, is really mainly about Call of Duty. And so that was it. And so I think that he got pissed off, and that's when he kept asking about other titles. Like, are you going to make those exclusive too? That's when the judge was like, "Man, shut your motherfucking ass up. You are really, now you aggravating me." And that's why a lot of people are thinking like, okay, this judge is definitely on Microsoft's side on this, but it still be to determine. I think that the wild card is going to be Bobby Kotick. I mean, he's a professional. He's what I'm saying, he knows how to talk. But
yeah, he's slick, all right.
Yeah, he's slick. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't have any issues with Nadella. I think Nadella is going to be smooth, going to be the Godfather as he is, and just keep that shit moving. But Bobby Kotick, I think, is the one. But he's a professional, so you know what I'm saying, he says all the right things. There, I don't see that there's no way that the FTC has a chance in this. I mean, there's always a chance, but I just think that it's very, very grim.
Okay, yeah. So I agree, man. Whatever Bobby does is going to be really interesting.
Right.
You can guarantee that that Zoom call is going to be full to the brim. Everyone's going to have their ear.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to be listening to that.
Every letter that comes out of his mouth.
Yeah,
and it's going to be interesting because we just seen Sony said some of their piece. Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond and all those cats said their piece about how hard it was to get said offer. I'm waiting to hear possibly Bobby Kotick bring up that situation.
Oh my God, yes. I definitely. Oh yeah, there's going to be some tea spilled because he's got to tell us about. He got to tell the judge, not us particularly.
He's got to tell us why.
But he got to explain why he did what he did. And even go deeper into what the deals were with Sony. Not only with that, but just with other games, like the marketing deals that Sony has with games on Activision and stuff like that. So he might. I mean, if he wants this deal to go through, he might have to put PlayStation through the mud. And put Sony through the mud, and that's what I'm saying. Like, he's a wild card. We don't know. He might be cool. He might turn out to be like Peter Hines. I don't know. I doubt that, but I don't know if he wants this. He wants to get that little money and wants to get that shit off his name, and get to go chilling somewhere.
Yeah, if he wants to sell off with that golden parachute, this is that moment.
This is that moment. He might have to sling some mud, and that I'm all for it. I'm all for the slander. I am definitely all for the slander. So I think Ham grabbed his mic. Sound like he's in trouble. You know what I'm saying? We better go ahead and get this wrapped up, man, because that man's cheeks are cooking. So we better get the hell out of here, man.
You out of your damn mind, but yeah. So yeah, I'm 100% expecting this deal just to go through. I was very uncertain, especially after the whole CMA thing, but But after seeing all the dirty laundry that's been flying out here, I'm just like, goodness gracious, this laundry room is filthy.
Filthy, just dirty, and it hasn't even been washed in a while, so it's even extra dirty.
Yeah. That should have been simmering. It is putrid in there. so I'm 100% on the boat for the deal. And with that being said, K Mega, this is the end of the show, bro. I appreciate it as usual. For you coming through on my channel next week. As I told y'all in the chat, it's going to be on K Mega's channel, K Mega 4. It's K Mega 4, 405.
It's
K Mega 4 is Twitter, right?
It's Twitter, yeah. K Mega 4 is Twitter.
I always get those two
couldn't put
mixed
the 405 on there. Yeah, I know some other people have told me that too. Like, why is it? But I couldn't put the 405 on Twitter for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah, no, come and check me out. As you see, I'm gaming, man. You know what I'm saying? If I got the time to sit back and game, I will do it.
Ain't nobody seeing you game though. They're just seeing your real life now profile picture of who you really are.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I'm looking at our camera, so I'm tripping, and I'm looking at the camera in the back room. Yeah, and I'm showing myself over here lighting these creatures up. You know what I'm saying? But live from K Mega 405, live from hell. You know what I'm saying? We doing the damn thing. You know what I'm saying? Stop talking about wanting to smash Lilith. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and go find something else because she ain't the one. And yeah, man, come check out my channel. We'll be doing a My Thoughts video Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday kind of evening-ish. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to start doing that on a regular basis. And yeah, I will get back to doing Fight Night, man. This game has consumed me. I don't know how this game got me like this, but Diablo has just taken me away. It has. But yeah, I mean, I'm really enjoying it. But yeah, come and check me out, K Mega 45. If you ain't checked out the GRG podcast, please do. Also, something that I've been wanting to mention that I keep on forgetting, but it's on my mind right now, is that if you want to listen to the GRG podcast and also Dev and the Gamer, and we will start doing this with this podcast as well. You can listen to us on YouTube Music, or you can go and check out the for the GRG podcast playlist, and you can go back to the very beginning and listen to all that ruckus, or you can go and listen to the last episode. It's all there. Also with the Dev and the Gamer from episode 1 all the way to episode 50. Or to 51, I think we've got to. You can listen to us there at YouTube Music. I will start adding it to other places going forward again, and hope you guys will come and support. Really do appreciate it on the quest to get to 5,000. About a couple of hundred away. So yeah, come and please show support, man.
Well, let me cut that bust off real quick and just let y'all know that I really appreciate y'all. I actually appreciate y'all even more than K Mega does.
Wow.
So I really appreciate everything that y'all did and whatnot. I appreciate the super chats. I appreciate everything, the likes, the new subscriptions from all of y'all. Make sure y'all come back. We're gonna be doing a show tomorrow with me and Loke. The lowdown that we do every Tuesday. I got the Wednesday show solo, the solo show, and then on Thursday this week I got Super G coming on. The show that should be a good time. Super G, he's a dope dude. And then as usual on Friday, bullsitting with me, Loke, Jose Beluga, Matt Likes Games, and whichever guests we decided to bring through. I know K Mega is gonna soon be making that appearance back to
just hit me up
to bullsitting for sure. It's always a good time whenever K Mega comes through. So for sure, I'm happy that everybody came through. Hope y'all had a good time. Hope you guys are having a good Monday as well. We'll see you next week on K Mega's channel, K Mega 405. And with that being said, this is your boy Ham Solo and K Mega signing out for TSWS show, The Crossover. And me, I always have to let you know straight up to keep it gaming or keep it moving. Peace out.
Oh, man. Hey, the disrespect. Man, my camera's messed up. I got to get it fixed, man.
Man, don't and shut your ass.